Welcome to the social circle where creators come together to turn ideas into impact and goals into a reality. I'm Candace, and this is.
Jennifer, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We are so happy to have you guys here from wherever you are joining. I am very excited about today's topic because this one plays close to my heart.
Yeah, this week we are talking about something that we have both faced, and literally every creator eventually faces, and that's negativity, whether it's trolls, somebody's unwanted opinion, or just flat out hatred. And today we're going to break down how you can keep your peace and keep showing up despite all of that.
Correct. I think that's something that is it's a skill, right? Unless you're already very well versed with debating with people or having a conversation that leads away from negative and hateful. This is something that is a very learned thing. And personally, it's been helpful, number one, because once you understand kind of where the mindset is of the person that is leaving something not so great when they speak, just remember that sometimes they don't really know what they're responding to because they fully didn't comprehend what they were reading in the first place, which happens to a lot of us. They just make an assumption and jump from A to Z without connecting all the lines in between. And I think that was a skill that I had to learn after some time. And it's very helpful when you're seeing the negativities, then you're trying to connect those dots. And I think that'll be a great moment to share with you guys what we call our circle hack, which today, it's just going to be a very simple 2 to 3 minute explanation about something you could take away right now and start applying into your own content. In our circle hack today is something we like to call the response bank. So typically, this is just something that you can either learn from practice, you can get it from ChatGPT, but it's typically just a 3 to 5 auto responses that you have already created for yourself. One, because you don't want to put too much pressure on you creating a response on the fly. If you've got something that you've already thought about that could possibly lead, a certain area that you're trying to share with people in your content, that's one option to go. Helps these auto responses already in your response bank. They just give you that kind of permission, I would say, to allow somebody to show up with their negative response. Like if you're already expressing either political or, relationship.
An example that comes to my mind: hate comments. In the very beginning, we would always get, "This is a scam," right? And we would
Oh, yeah.
have some replies to that. The replies would be, in the beginning, they were like, "Oh, it's not a scam, F you." Not a good response. But the found a way to kind of respectful and educate at the same time. I understand how you can think that this is a scam, blah, blah, blah. That's one reply you could say to everybody. These are common things that you get across your platforms. And then you've got replies to that already
And
available.
And I think not only will this already knowing kind of how to respond to a statement like that from somebody, if so, when we were beginning our marketing journey, we were learning affiliate marketing. We're trying to convince and persuade individuals to about affiliate marketing and what it does. And that's why so many people on the internet would just call it a scam, a pyramid scheme, an MLM. And it's because they only come from a place of knowing one particular thing, general as it might have been, but this is an opportunity for you to just take the response from that person, whether it's just the one word scam, pyramid, MLM, whatever have it, right? You can take that and turn it into an educational response on your platform. And this is your time to shine with the information that you know. Whatever it is you're doing, right? People want to earn trust with you. They really want to know if you're for real, if you're just out here scamming them or not. So those are the moments when you can just really shine your light on the information that you know is true. And or you can actually say, okay, this person is calling me out for this, and I want to let them have the platform. So I'm going to turn this into their shining moment and let them educate me. And then this just gives yet another idea, guys. This is just another way for you to open up that response for communication because that feeds your algorithm. That's the
Yeah.
bottom line that comes down from these responses to these negative comments is simple structured engagement that you're trying to get with the people that you're trying to talk to. And it can do two things. It can keep your followers still following, and it can keep the people who have no interest in following to unfollow or just block, which is what you want because you want to have both of those lanes open when you're trying to build your communities.
Another bonus tip is inside of Instagram, when I was posting things that were near and dear to me, like my daughter getting pregnant at a young age, people were posting nasty things. And so I just went into Instagram, and I believe TikTok has it as well. You can block those comments from even showing up on your feed. Just block it before it even starts if that's where you're at, right? I think the main thing here with this circle hack is there's lots of ways to do it. You can have the response bank, you can block them, or you can go use the platform's ability to block them ahead of time. Those are some ways that you can target it before it even happens. But what about, let's talk about why it happens. Let's talk about why it happens, Jennifer, because
And again,
we
I
could
think this
talk all
comes
day about why it happens because we've seen the 1,018 reasons why people make shitty comments.
people have an opinion. People want to be heard. That's what it comes down to. No matter what kind of a content creator you are, someone out there will have an opinion of what you have to say. The thing with responding to these things is how you intend to show yourself to not only that one individual speaking, but to the rest of the audience that will potentially see what you're speaking against or for. And I think that was something that I had to really learn because I really didn't understand. Well, I'm trying to prove myself to one individual who gives two shits about what I'm saying. And in reality, what I should have tried to do is take what that person thinks in a negative way and really spin it so that the rest of the audience that I am trying to talk to grow my community understands what I'm really there for them to come in and follow or whatever it is I'm trying to get them to do. So it's definitely something that can really help you in the long run. It's practice for you because you're now speaking to your direct people that you want to talk to by taking the negative of somebody else's who probably won't ever do anything in relation to what you're doing and just proving what you know. That's what I've boiled it down to. Candace, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, people are just angry. Sometimes hurt people like to hurt other people, right? And the more you grow in this content journey, the more criticism you get. That is a fact because everyone has an opinion and everyone's got this awesome little thing called a keyboard. And the warriors out there that are on their keyboards just holding it down, like they're just bored or they're projecting. But
Yep.
there can be a difference between the people that are trying to provide constructive feedback and freaking trolls, right?
Heck yeah. So many trolls out there that are getting paid to just plaster your page with the worst statements that they can think of. Sadly, it's allowed. But like Candace mentioned in the circle hack, is you can block certain particular words. And I think you can even do like a Google keyword search and then just populate all of these words related to your content that you don't want somebody to state in your comment section and you can block those. I think taking knowledge of understanding where the pain comes from for somebody who's responding to what you're saying, and then definitely somebody who's just trolling. I think, Candace, you just had that interaction with somebody who was pretty
Oh,
much
yeah.
harassing you for the content. And trolling, guys, is when they're literally going to every single comment section on every reel that you have, and they're just making undue, unnecessary,
Yeah.
uncalled for remarks.
It's just
Um,
personal, it's aggressive,
it's an
it's
attack.
insulting, it's just
Yep.
purely against anything they can find you. It could be something on your body, it could be your hair, it could be the way you speak, it could be your house. They will find anything. A troll will find anything.
I'll give an example of somebody who actually commented on someone who I follow, a creator that I like their content, and it was about something that that person had done for their kids, and I cheered them on in the comment section. I said, "This is amazing. You're being a great parent to your children, and these girls that you're raising are going to be amazing women in the future." I had one man, one very hateful, sad, spiteful, hurt man in all caps for like 7 full paragraph length comments actually respond to my statement and said women are the spite of the world. They're the worst thing ever created. Turns out, after this gentleman continued his little thread and other comments from other people watching were saying, this is the wrong place for you to do this.
Right.
He was saying that it's because he had a mom who didn't care about him as a child. And he
Mm,
brought it out on his own that he was hurting from a woman who hurt him as a kid. And he's an adult man and he's like got a sister. And it was informative. And I sort of felt bad for the guy because clearly there's that pain where, like you said, Candace, hurt people. He didn't
mhm.
want to heal from it. And this is something, along with a lot of things, and we'll get into this a little bit later in the podcast, but there's a lot of people who just spew whatever it is they feel like in an argument when you're person to person, face to face. They think that just because you're behind a keyboard that you have that final last word. And really you don't, because there's going to be either yourself or the multitude of other people who can additionally state other things in relation to what that one negative person is saying. You don't see them, you can't feel what they're feeling, but you can also kind of tell the differences between somebody who is hurt and just basically trying to slap down anybody who's being better than them, and then the trolls, right?
Yeah.
It's very clear sometimes. And it's sad when you see it, but I think if you're really good, Candice, you were able to do this. You had somebody who was trolling and you actually turned him into a follower, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. I've done that a few times. Once there was a guy that made a negative comment to me, and I responded with something humorous and very much my personality. It wasn't hateful or anything, my response. It was more of like a, you're the one you're the one that commented, so maybe it's you and not me. And we went back and forth a few times, and at the very end of it, he was like, "You know what? You're right." You're right. This is crazy. Like, I am the crazy one. I am the one that's commenting. And then more recently was a female that didn't like something in one of my, oh, I didn't, she was on another creator's page making some nasty comments and I called her out for them. I said, she said something about should be humble talking to the creator, and I said a little bit of humility or something, and I was like, well, jealousy doesn't look very good on you. And she came to my page. She commented on like 8 of my reels, a post. And then she started talking about my daughter. And I sent her a separate message. And I was like, I will go back and forth with you all day long. I will do it. But don't talk about my daughter. Do not, that's too far. And you could say anything you want about me because it doesn't affect me, but do not talk about my daughter. And then from there, she stopped. She made one last comment, one really long last comment, and then she still follows me. So I'm like, okay, whatever. It's crazy. There's so many different ways that you can take a comment that you find to be hurtful or you find to be negative. There's so many ways to do it. And the first thing is just don't respond, right?
Oh
Block
yeah,
them,
always an option.
right? That's the first thing. But then, like, if you want to respond, then respond because engagement drives traffic, which drives growth. My rule of thumb, just like you said, Jennifer, is to respond to everybody else. I'm not responding to this troll. I'm going to respond to everybody else that's going to look at his comment and then they're going to see what I say. That's what I'm thinking
Exactly.
about. And when I'm thinking about the people I'm trying to target to hit that follow button and say, oh, yes, queen, boom, whatever. That's my strategy, I guess. Like you said, you are a little bit more.
In the beginning, I was blocking people because I was too shy. I wasn't confident in what I knew at the time, and I did not feel confident in disputing somebody. So I did. And if you're a beginner and you're having people state something that doesn't feel positive in any kind of a way, and you have blocked and reported or whatever, it's fine. It's okay. Let it ride, right? You'll develop, you'll get better, you'll create your strategy for how you want to use a response, and it'll eventually become something you are very good at doing. Or I wouldn't say always, block a comment from someone negative. I would sometimes just leave them there. Just don't do anything to it. That's also
Yeah.
something that we talked about, is you can just let it ride. Don't respond, don't engage. Let your following engage for you. That's also something else that can happen. If there's something that you won't respond to, but I think there was a creator who I followed that it was a very down to earth. It was just showing their everyday life of them eating their lunch at their table at work. And somebody responded and said, "This is the stupidest thing I wasted my time watching on." And the only thing that creator who originally created that video said was 1.3. And then
Right.
the comment section turned into 75 comment responses, and everybody saying, "Well, what the hell does 1.3 mean?" At the time of that video,
Jeez.
the number of likes people
Oh,
were putting on that video, because that was a relatable video.
right.
The guy didn't say anything. He didn't write anything. He just said, "Join me for my work lunch." That was it. And somebody hated on it. And the rest of the people were like, "Well, technically, this is
Right.
what this guy does every day. So if you're hating on it, you just really showed up how you really are in your own life, where you hate everything, apparently." So it can go kinds of, a lot of different ways. I think that the best thing that you could learn when it comes to your comment section is that whole mental resilience, deciding, how you want to show up with your comment sections. Now, me, I was the kind who was shy, and I would see that I would respond sometimes to the negative stuff, and I would try to be the teacher and educate. It didn't feel very good for me, but again, my confidence level wasn't so great back in my very first couple of months. Today, I feel a lot better with telling people I need them to know. If you're, like I said, just getting started, it's however you currently feel. If you're not confident in it, don't do it. Don't respond. You can block them, or you can try and practice with it and see what comes of that.
Yeah, just protect your peace. That's the main, and that's your piece. And Jennifer and I have different levels of that. Jennifer and
Totally.
I,
Yep.
both of us have much different levels of that when it comes to how we respond and how we create content, and how we engage with the negativity when needed. And because now we're smarter about it, we decide to reply publicly, right? We know that what we're saying is going to build trust with the people that matter. And we do it with humor, and we do it with grace, and we don't do it with disrespect. And that's just because we have the skills now. But it
And
all comes down
ultimately,
to your
yeah.
level of
Oh,
what
totally.
you can handle.
Ultimately, I like to look at it as the world already is a crappy place to live in. So why does social media have to be crappy too? And I'd rather leave it a little more lighthearted than when I got it. So, in my opinion, that's how I feel when trying to make my responses to an individual. I think someone who I learned from, who is a high school teacher from Canada, and we'll have this posted later on, but it is an account called Unlearn 16. Her name's Joanna. She is phenomenal with responding to comment section. And
Yeah.
it is hilarious how she comes across. She's an educator by nature, so she teaches high schoolers. So she's already got a shield on how to talk to somebody who's disrespectful or who doesn't fully understand maybe what they might be commenting on. So that's kind of where my learning came in with responding to comment sections. Is I would watch this one creator, Joanna, because she did just amazing work with taking a statement from someone. So in current events right now, right, tariffs for this 2025 year, tariffs were imposed. And in Canada, there are, I don't know what the numbers are. So I'm not even going to go into numbers, but essentially what she did was she explained a tariff to a US citizen in her comment section. And it was a really educational, informative piece of content that she did based on something that somebody else said was, "Well, tariffs are the best thing in the world." And the response back was, "Did you understand that you, the tax paying American, are getting taxed for that?" Tariff
right?
is not something that is so great if you actually know what is being taxed in the tariffs, right? And it was such a very eloquent explanation. Again, I think she's been on online and social media for like 6 years. So she's had
Hmm.
lots of practice with being able to explain and combat and go back and forth with people. But that's somebody who I learned from. Now, if there's a creator out there that you are starting to kind of connect the dots and notice how they might respond, I would definitely go back and check their account, see how they use response from other people, and just maybe learn from them because technically 9 times out of 10, you're following someone for a reason. You connected with them for a particular thing that you like about them. So ideally, follow what they're doing because they have developed a pattern of their own on their account on how to respond to people. And so when you're creating your content, that's a very good way to educate yourself on, how to utilize your devices with whatever you have with other people.
Yeah, and that brings us into our social spotlight, talking about creators that are just good with building their audience and growing and building their brand by using the comments and the negativity and responding to it, right? And that was what you were talking about with what's her name?
Joanna, yeah, that's somebody who I followed her because I was watching some of her responses to the negative statements that were being made on some of her videos. That would put me into a whole scroll hold, right? I would go in, I would look at reels, and then I would just look back and forth and follow where it started, the conversation, where it actually originated. And then I would look, and sometimes they would just continue. And this is really great for future content purposing, right? You can take these statements and you can turn them into series to answer people. If you're trying to kind of come up with a way to reach your community and you're seeing a very large response of the same or similar statement, that's
Hmm.
something that you can turn into a free giveaway. A lot of you asked this question. A lot of you want to know this information. So I'm going to give this to you. And that's like a really great thing to give away for free information because you're now solving a problem for the masses in a very direct, this is what they're telling you is wrong, what they think is wrong, and how you can inform them in a certain kind of way.
I was going to talk about Drew Afalio, I think is how you say her name. I've been following her for years. Started on TikTok, but people make the meanest comments about her appearance, her weight, her man, her fiance, because they'll make comments like, "Oh, what's he doing with you?" and blah blah blah. And she has built her entire, like, I think it's 8 million across all of the platforms. She's built, like, just overcoming the misogynist disgustingness of these people who are typically men that she gets in her comments, and she just roasts them, which I'm all here for. But she also hosts two podcasts, The Comment Section and Two Idiot Girls, which I think is with her sister. I have listened to bits and pieces of them, but she's just a really strong female that I like because she doesn't take any of that crap from people and just calls them out, which I'm here
And
for, girl.
And look at, I just heard you say she's got two podcasts, right? And her
Yep.
whole platform is about responding to negativity.
Yep.
And that's just another way that she's likely marketing herself, whether she knew it when she got started or not. It turned into something bigger than what she became, what she started from. And this is where just kind of analyzing what your comments are doing is something that can help you in the long run. This might be a little more advanced, but I would think that when you're getting started, it's definitely something to consider when you're starting out and getting that feedback from people. Feedback is feedback, negative or not. What's the saying in Hollywood? Um, any attention is good attention or
Yeah.
bad or whatever, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So
All publicity is good publicity.
there you
That's what
go.
my dad
Yeah.
used to say.
That's what it is, and that's the truth. It's just the truth, right? Because it's just putting your content out there. So if you're getting the statements from people, the algorithm is saying, "Okay, there's something going on here."
Yeah.
And it's just in how you come at it, right? Come at it with more of a marketing stance than a I'm being attacked personally, therefore I must say something. No, I wouldn't do that. Unless that's your stick, right? It could be, and then you can turn it into something later on.
Right.
But we're all about protecting your peace.
Amen.
So plan around it. Expect negativity, and hopefully you can take that and say, okay, well, now I have a more general idea, the direction that I can go. And hopefully this information was very helpful for that because I felt like it took me some time to learn it and it might
Yeah.
take you, but
But you know what the great thing is inside the VIP circle, we have our mindset reset mini course. It's inside of our school community, the social circle VIP, and it's it's the foundation
yeah,
for us, and that's pretty much what we've built our entire community with because mindset is so important. We stomp on
80% of
that.
entrepreneurship is mindset.
Yeah. And so, you know, we noticed we knew other courses and other mentors. That wasn't the first thing that they were helping people with. So
It was
that's why,
lacking.
yeah, it was severely lacking. So, I mean, this is just where you can build your confidence, learn your boundaries and focus, and where you should put your energy, where you should be expending your energy,
Oh yeah,
where you're deflating. And if you struggle with mindset, if you struggle with negative comments, if you struggle with the hate on social media, because it is real, this course could be your reset button and just a place for you to share openly with people that get it.
totally. And I think the best part is that if you join for free for the first 7 days, you can hop in there, check out that course, and hop back out. Hopefully, you stick around because there's a whole lot more that we
Hmm.
offer for you guys. So definitely hop in there, check that out.
Had I not worked on my mindset, I wouldn't be here still. That's 100%. It's a journey and it takes a lot out of you. Sometimes you need to just decide how you're going to handle it and move forward at that point, and that may change in a month. It may change in a year, but you need to decide to just block and move on, mute, respond. But it's your energy that you have to protect.
Totally agree. And I think that if you guys are like we struggled and we really didn't have this, but this is what we're here for is if you do need more assistance, if you have more questions about how you can respond to somebody that is coming at you in your comment section or just in general anything about your content, make sure you DM us. I'm over here on Instagram, Jen_Radulac. Candace is over here at Just the Blended Wells on Instagram. Come and let us know what your questions are. Hop into our community, the Social Circle VIP, where we are doing lives weekly. Candace has hers on Tuesdays, mine are on Thursdays, and hop into those. Come and ask your questions live. And if you want to hear more of today's episode or similar things like this, please check out our podcast on Amazon, Spotify, and just make sure you hit subscribe so that you can get those reminders and check us out every week. Thank you again for your time. I truly appreciate it and spending this moment with you. And Candace, I hope you
We
have a very
love
fantastic rest of
you.
your day. Have a
Yay.
great one, everybody.